This is the Comfort Zone model CZ230ER 240 volt 7500 watt shop heater. Mounted it up here on the ceiling, and right over here I put a garden thermometer so we can kind of keep an eye on the actual temp. What I'm having problems with is the thing will not accurately read the temperature of the ambience around in the ambient air in the room. It is very accurate in monitoring the temperature of the unit itself, but not here in the shop. So as you see, it's about 60 degrees in here. That's up high where the unit is located, just a few feet away. Of course, it's more like 55 degrees down here on the ground. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to adjust it to 70 degrees. You watch it warm up to 70 degrees, and then you'll hear the heating element kick off. And then the fans start to cool it down, and then it'll cycle through, and then it'll warm up, after it drops just below 70, and then it'll kick back on, and it'll go through that cycle, that cool down cycle and warm up cycle, trying to keep the shop at 70 degrees. But it won't really be very accurate. So here we go. So I'm going to set it to 70 degrees. And I was running it earlier, so it already thinks it's 68 in here, but it's not. So I can feel the air blowing on me now. I'm just standing just kind of below it, and it's warm. It's the heating element is heating up. It's warm. It's heating the shop. And just right over here, again, it's only about 60 degrees up there, and again, it's more like 55 degrees down here on the ground. But we're just going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to fast forward this section so you don't have to sit here and watch for several minutes as it heats up. There, you hear it? The thing kicked off, and I stick my hand up there, and I can feel the air is cooling down. It's no longer warm. The air is cooling down because the unit has reached its desired temperature of about 70 degrees. The unit up there is 70 degrees, but the shop is nowhere near 70 degrees, especially down here where I'm standing. So as a result, I have to crank the thing up again. So let's do this again. We're going to crank it up now to 80. There, you heard the thing click on again. Heard the heating element click on just then. So now I want to heat it up. So I have to set my desired temperature much higher than I really desire. It's 80 degrees. And now I can feel the air is warming up again. And again, it'll run through that same cycle. It'll hit 80, and then it'll turn off. Well, the heating element will click off. But again, it's nowhere near 70 degrees in here, especially down here where I'm standing. But let's watch this again. I'm going to speed this up, and we'll listen for it to click off. It should just take a minute or so. There, you heard that click. You hear the ting-tingling. The heating element has kicked off because it believes that it's reached its 80 degree preset temperature. However, it's nowhere near 80 degrees in here, and especially down here where I'm standing. So the thing is accurate in that it's reading its internal temperature correct, but it's kicking off way too early. And so now it'll cool itself down under 80, and then it'll click on, and it'll heat up the air again, and it'll click on and off, on and off, on and off, over and over and over, never really reaching my desired temperature of about 70 degrees in here. So what I've done is I've hooked up that fan. You can see that fan behind it. Watch what happens when I cool the unit down. I'm going to turn on the fan, and I'm going to cool the unit down, and it'll bring it back to more of a regular temperature. I'm going to turn it on now. So you can hear the machine's turned off entirely, thinking it's reached that 80 degree desired temperature. But now I'm going to turn on the fan. So now with the fan on, it's of course going to cool down the unit and it's going to kick back on. I was talking just then, but it clicked on just now. And now you see the temperature's going down rapidly to show kind of closer to what it's really in here. It's now at 73 degrees. The fan has sufficiently cooled down the unit, and now that heating element is kicked on, and it's going to heat until it reaches that desired, I think I set it at 80 degrees for the second time. And right over here, again, it's only about 60 degrees in here. And the thing now is reading 70 degrees internal temperature with the fan blowing on it. So what I've done is I have to have this shop fan behind it cooling the thing down to get it more, to keep that heating element turned on and blowing. Otherwise it'll falsely heat up because the unit, well, I wouldn't say falsely, because the comfort zone unit there is hot and it cools itself down and it cycles through. But it's just kind of okay. You know, it's not really that good. The little fan inside, I think, should be stronger, or maybe the little thermometer should maybe be strung to the outside slightly. So anyway, this is my workaround. I turn that big shop fan on behind it to cool the unit down to allow the heating element to remain on until it reaches desired temperature. So for example, I can bring it back down to, whoops, that's the timer. Let's go to temperature. So say I want it to reach 70 degrees in the shop. With the fan on there and with the thing set to 70, it's now going to work properly. But I'm just kind of disappointed. I mean, I spent like $150 on the comfort zone thing. I spent $600 to have an electrician come out here and wire in the 220 for just kind of an okay unit. I'm a little bit disappointed.